Multitracks feels complicated until you realize you only need these 4 things. In this video, I'll break it down on a small, moderate, and big budget setup so you can get started without the stress. Hey, I'm Keegan. I'm a music director and I built TracksBuilder to help teams run multitracks faster and with way more consistency. In this video, I'll break down the 4 things you need to get started at your church and what I would do if I had small budget, a moderate budget, or a big budget setup. Here are the 4 things you need no matter what. A device to play the multitracks, a way to get the multitracks out from the device and to the soundboard, in-ears so that the band can hear the click in the cues and stay on time with the multitracks, and a place to get your multitracks from. Now let's dive in. The first thing you need is a device and software to run the multitracks on. On a small budget, you're going to use whatever device you have, a laptop or an iPad, and you're going to keep the software simple. If you want the absolute easiest software to get started with, Multitracks.com makes their playback app and loopcommunity.com makes their Prime app. And both are easy playback apps that you can get started with for free and get started running multitracks this weekend. On a moderate budget, this is where Ableton Live is going to start to become worth it. It scales with your team. It will give you better editing, better routing, and more control. But there is a learning curve with it. On a big budget, you're basically building a never-fail rig. You're going to want one device running the tracks, and then you're going to want a redundant device. A second device running the same session, all synced up, so that your church can run tracks every weekend and know that no matter what, it will never fail. The second thing you need is a way to get audio out to the soundboard. On a small budget, it's going to be very easy. You're going to grab a 3.5 millimeter aux to left and right split cable like this, 1/4 inch left and right split. And you're going to purchase a stereo DI box like this one. This one is $100, but it's built like a tank. And all you're going to do is run XLRs out to the soundboard. It's dead simple. And all you're going to do is you're going to route the click and the cues through one side and the tracks through the other. And now you have 2 channels, one that can go to the band's ears and another that can be in the house. On a moderate budget, the best upgrade you're going to make is using an audio interface. I have one right here. It's called the SSL2 Plus. It's a great audio interface. A lot of churches use interfaces from Focusrite, but the key here is getting one with more than 2 channels out so that you can run maybe like 4 outputs, 8 outputs, and now you can start to send multiple tracks split up to the soundboard. On a big budget, the best investment here is installing Dante. Dante is a virtual audio network. Put simply, it's going to replace running the snake from the stage to the soundboard. Over Dante, you get insanely flexible routing. Anything hooked up to Dante can have different channels coming in, different channels going out to it. But it's a serious pro level overhaul. It's very technical. So if your goal is to get tracks up and running this weekend, you would have to skip it. But if your goal is a long-term pro level overhaul that's going to scale with your system, it's one of the best things to implement. The third thing you're going to need is in-ear monitors. This is a non-negotiable. You need the click and cues only going to your band's in-ears. So on a small budget, the best setup you're going to get is something like the Shure SE 215s. Back in the day, they used to be like $70 a pair. Now they're around 100 or 110. But in the grand scheme of things, it's not crazy money to equip your entire team with these. You'll also want, on a small budget, a multi-channel headphone amp. What this is going to do is it's going to allow you to actually run all the channels out to each band member. On a moderate budget, now you're thinking about things that work best, again, over Dante. So there's the Live Mix CS Duo, and then there's the Allen and Heath ME500. These are very popular personal in-ear mixers. So you can buy enough for your entire team to use, and now your entire team has a personal in-ear mixer right in front of them that they can adjust their in-ear mix on. On a big budget, you can go all out. You can have a separate mixing console and a separate volunteer running an in-ear mix for the entire band, so an in-ear engineer. And the fourth thing you need is the actual Multitracks. So I mentioned two earlier. They have their own playback apps, multitracks.com and loopcommunity.com. The goal is simple. Use tracks that match the original song and then mute whatever your band is already covering, because at the end of the day, your band is still contributing way more than the Multitracks will contribute. So this whole setup comes down to a device and software to run the Multitracks, audio out to the soundboard, in-ears, and a tracks provider. Now, if you're choosing Ableton because you want something that scales, but you don't want the learning curve or the extra setup time every week, that's exactly why I built the app TracksBuilder. TracksBuilder automates building an entire multi-track session from the ground up every week. It matches your template style, it builds consistently, and it even integrates with Planning Center so that your session matches the plan for every weekend. You can try TracksBuilder for free, and if you want, you can use this exclusive code, BuildMySet, for 50% off your first month of the app. First, check out TracksBuilder, the link's below. Second, I appreciate if you would subscribe. I post more content just like this on running multitracks and using Ableton to its fullest every week. And third, you can check out my next video on how to get started running multitracks quickly in Ableton. I'll link it right here. Thanks for watching.